explained how action potential is generated within a neuron or nerve cell in response to some excitation, in response to some stimulus. Still, just for the sake of understanding, I repeat it very fast. Will take only around 1 minute or something like to just have an overview of the previous discussion. That whenever there is some excitation or stimulus present, then the neurotransmitter will be released into the synaptic cleft. Okay, and that will be captured by a receptor. Once a receptor receives this neurotransmitter, they will be chemically bonded, and that chemical signal, the bonded form of neurotransmitter and neuroreceptor, will trigger ligand gated ion channel. The ion channel will start opening, through which now various ions will enter, or some ion may leave also. Now, initially the cell voltage is say around minus 65 millivolt. Just you're considering it may be minus 70 millivolt also. That is our normal potential or resting potential. Now, as the sodium ions are entering into the cell, its voltage, cell voltage will start increasing. Okay. Then gradually some calcium channel will open also, and the voltage of the cell will increase further. Later, not in the beginning, potassium channel will open. Potassium channel will open later, and some potassium ion will start effluxing out of the cell. So the cell voltage will reduce a little bit. And when the net voltage is equal to the EPSP, the threshold value, okay, then another stage of triggering will start. So the thing is that due to the various branching or the dendrites, neurotransmitters are coming to various parts of the cell, okay, through their corresponding synapses, and the cell voltage will start increasing. When the cell voltage attains some threshold value, say minus 55 millivolt or something like, then what happens? Then the voltage gated ion channel will start activating, and gradually sodium ions will enter into the cell. It will pervade, okay, the entire space, causing other voltage gated ion channel to trigger step by step. Okay, this is called, so the cell voltage attains some peak value around plus 40 millivolt, which is called the action potential. Okay. Now, when the voltage is again more, now what happens? After some time, the sodium ion channel will get inactivated. So no more entry of sodium ion is possible. But now the potassium ion channel will start opening, through which potassium ion will emit. It will come out of the cell. Therefore, cell voltage will start dropping. Okay. It's say around minus 10 millivolt gradually. So when now all the ions are displaced from their original position, then the ion pumps will come into the scenario, and they will restore the ions in their original positions. Okay, it will throw out the sodium to the ion out extracellular medium and throw in the potassium ions into the intracellular medium. This region, this duration is called a refractory period, which is again divided into absolute and relative. Refractory period. The cell voltage starts dropping. Initially, it will be dropping more because of the persistent action of the potassium ion channel. So a lot of sodium ions have come out. Okay, but so therefore, but all the potassium ions are not already in. So the cell voltage is becoming very much negative, more than the normal resting potential. It is called hyperpolarized. Okay, so that is this part is called relative refractory period. So this way, the ions will propagate through the cell, basically mainly through the nodes of Ranvier. But in the fatty myelin region, where a layer of fat is surrounding the axon body, there this type of mechanism does not work. There are different mechanisms called saltatory conduction will come into act, where ions will be pushed aside serially to the other end. Okay, so this way, okay, the ions will start moving from one place to the another, one side to the another side. And then when the voltage is action potential is found at the other end, after that the neurotransmitter in the other side now will be triggered. Again it will be released, and again a receptor in the other adjacent neuron will start receiving it, and the whole process will repeat. So that is this. So if you see the whole thing, that initially our cell voltage is at negative value, normal resting potential. So when some stimulus is applied, not only electrical, any other stimulus possible, then the ligand gated ion channel will open. After the EPSP is attained, voltage gated ion channel will open, and the cell voltage will start increasing. Sodium ion will rush into the cell. It is called depolarization, you know. Okay, that is the depolarization means attaining positive volt value. After that, sodium ion channel will be closed, but potassium ion channel open. So some potassium ion channel will come out of the cell, causing a voltage to drop down. Cell voltage will start decreasing, and that decrement of cell voltage will be magnified by the action of ion pumps in the later stage, where it will throw out all the ions to their respective position. Sodium ions will be thrown out of the cell, and potassium ions will be thrown into the cell gradually. So cell voltage will become negative, but the more sodium ion will come out than the potassium ion will go into initially. So cell voltage will be heavily negative. It's called hyperpolarization. Later, they will attain a steady state condition, and it will attain a normal voltage. So that is the graph of, okay, the action potential. Okay, so if initially the voltage cannot attain EPSP or the threshold value, it is called failed initiation or failed triggering. The voltage will not increase, it will drop down to the normal value soon. But as soon as the threshold value is reached, EPSP, then our depolarization will begin. Okay, and this biopotential, this voltage available in the nerve cell as a whole, it is generated primarily by, okay, sodium ion and potassium ion, mainly in the nerve cell. Other ions, calcium ions, are also playing their role, but not too much in the nerve cell. The role of calcium ion is very much prominent in heart cell, heart muscle. I shall mention it later, heart muscle. So that is this graph of that entire thing. I told you that these particular things also. That absolute refractory period, relative refractory period, I already discussed. Now, if we consider all that, there are different type of action potentials present in our body. There are mainly of two type of action potential: neuronal action potential and cardiac action potential. Neuronal action potential is present in the nerve cell neuron, which is very fast. Its duration is around 1 millisecond. Typically, sometimes maybe 2 to 5 milliseconds also. Okay, that is found mainly in skeletal muscle cells. But in cardiac or heart action potential, They are of two types, slow action potential and fast action potential. Okay. Uh, the slow action potential, apparently it is quite similar to the neuronal action potential, but much slower. Fast action potential is also slower than the neuronal action potential. Okay, and its duration is around 200 to 400 milliseconds. The reason I already told you that it has to carry a lot of blood, which is having large mass or inertia. So here is a comparative study of action potential in nerve cell and cardiac cell. Obviously, our nerve cell is much faster. Now, if we consider the cells in the heart, we can broadly classify them. One is called a pacemaker cell, another is a non-pacemaker cell. A pacemaker cell, it is the cell, or these are the cells that are generating the electrical impulse, the action potential. This is the source of action potential or electric stimulus in the heart, for which, because of that action potential, actually the heart starts vibrating, heart starts moving mechanically. Note that one important difference is that in a neuronal action potential, the action potential or the voltage is present only when there is a stimulus, there is some excitation. But in heart, just opposite thing happens. For heart, no stimulus or excitation is required. Within the pacemaker cell, the cells are generating, okay, the action potential at a regular interval on its own. Okay, so these pacemaker cells are generating electrical impulses on its own. No other stimulus is present there. It is regularly happening. So that is a big difference, that this action potential does not take place in response to any stimulus. Rather, it is stimulated periodically to generate the action potential within the pacemaker cell. And the non-pacemaker cell, what happens? These are the cells where that generated electric impulse will be flowing, will be moving down. Okay, it's just receiving. These are the receiver cells only. So that the electric impulse can propagate to the every corner of the heart for its proper working, for its proper contraction and expansion, for its proper vibration. Okay. Now these pacemaker cells are actually of two types. One is one pacemaker cells are found mainly in sinoatrial region. Okay, this is called a node, a sinoatrial node, a small confined region where the electric impulse is found. Okay, it is the sinoatrial node or SA node, and the atrial, now this electrical impulse, when it comes down the heart, sometimes its magnitude may get little bit diminished. Magnitude may become a little bit smaller. Some attenuation will take place. So in some midpoint, during the path, during its journey, some magnification or amplification is required. Where that amplification will take place? It is in the AV node, atrioventricular node. So in that region, AV node, actually that impulse will be magnified further so that it can spread everywhere at every corner of the heart. Clear? Then this pacemaker cell, there it is generating the electrical impulse. There calcium ions are playing very important role, especially in the initial depolarization phase of the cells. Okay, during the initial part where the cell is attaining a positive voltage or less negative voltage, there apart from the sodium ion, calcium ions are also playing very important role. In non-pacemaker cell also calcium ions are playing important role, then it actually contributes to the extended part of the action potential. So there is extended part is called the plateau. So it's some plateau or a flat topped region of the action potential is taking place. A flat topped region, this part, that the upper part, this part or that part, there the calcium ion channel is playing important role. Okay, this part there. Now the thing is that when a sinoatrial node, SA node generates the electric impulse, see here in the right top corner, this part, sinoatrial node, that impulse is going down, propagating down, okay, through a particular, okay, region of the cells. This region, actually, this is called the gap junction, where gap junction, the square shaped blank region, where the density of the cell is much smaller. Density of the cell is much smaller. So ion transport cannot take place very fast at those gap junctions. So what happens here? The action potential will pass through this region quite slowly. It will pass through the region quite slowly. Why? It means that effectively the action potential is getting slowed down. It is slowed down. Why slowing of action potential is required? Its speed is decreased because the heart has to carry blood along with its vibration successfully. As the blood has a lot of mass and inertia, it cannot go very fast from one point to the another point. So therefore, to keep itself in synchronicity with the blood movement, all this there is some delay. A time delay generation is taking place through the gap junction of the muscles, heart muscles. Initially in the sinoatrial node, okay, the pulse shape is something like, but as it moves down the contractile fiber, some plateau phase is coming. Okay, it is mainly due to the blue color. It is mainly due to the calcium ions. Some extended part is taking place. Okay, so that is happening there. So there are different phases actually mentioned. Phase 4, it is the initially you see the potassium ion channels are open and it's coming out. Okay, so that there. So the negative voltage is maintained there in the cell around minus 70 volt millivolt or to minus 90 millivolt. Then upon stimulation, okay, rapid depolarization starts and sodium ions will start entering into that region. So voltage will rise very fast and cell becomes positively charged around plus 20 millivolt to plus 40 millivolt. Then what happens? Some, okay, potassium ion will start working and it will start emitting. So cell voltage will drop down a little bit as the potassium ions are coming out. The voltage is becoming a little bit negative for the cell. Then for calcium ion again, now some calcium ion channels open and calcium entered, so voltage is slightly, okay, maintained and more or less at constant value. Okay, not too much. It is actually creating some compensating effect of the going out of potassium channel. Okay, then finally what happens? The calcium ion channel closes and the potassium ion channel is open again. Potassium ions are coming out. So cell voltage will go down. It will become negative. So this way we are getting different voltage pattern, okay, in various parts of the cell or various parts of the organ. Here organ means heart. And refractory period prevents another stimulus from initiating action potential because the previous one is not yet processed. The processing is not complete for the previous action potential. So some time gap is required. Okay. In nerve fiber, the propagation rate of the voltage is around 20 to 200 millimeter per second. But for heart muscle, it is much smaller, only zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.4 meter per second. The reason you already know. It is slowed down mainly by the gap junctions and all such things mechanism. Okay, in time delay fiber between atria and ventricle. Atria means it is the upper chamber of the heart. Yes. So atria means it is the upper chamber of the heart. This chamber, that chamber, upper ventricle means is the lower chamber of the heart. So from atrium to ventricle, when bloods are moving, what happens? It is mentioned. See, just 1 minute. Mm, so ultimately, now it's there in time delay fiber. Now, when the due to the blood movement, actually, uh, again a further slowing down is required between atrium and ventricle. Okay, between atrium and ventricle, and that slowing down is also carried out a little bit to some extent by AV node. Although AV node mainly amplifies the amount of the impulse, but sometimes it slows down a little bit. But main slowing action is taking place in the Purkinje fiber or in the other fibers of the heart. And different currents are shown actually different part, not required for you that it can be measured actually. But the total current present in a single cell, maybe in heart or in neuron anywhere else, the total current, ionic current present, which is contributed by all the ion channels in the cell, is called the whole cell current. Whole cell current. It is a total current contributed by all the ion channels at different point of time. Okay. And how much current is flowing in a cell, that can be measured also by a particular technique called patch clamp technique. Let's see what is the patch clamp technique. A patch clamp technique actually, it allows a high resolution current recording of the whole cell current. Whole cell current is the current in entire cell where all the ions are contributing, okay, playing their original role. Then the patch clamp technique, it is also applied to the excised cellular patches. Actually, the cellular ion channels are sometimes broken, surfaces or membranes are broken, okay, and some patch is inserted at the broken part of the membrane so that ion can come out. Just 1 minute, please. হ্যাঁ বলুন। হ্যাঁ বলুন। প্রথমে আপনি আসবেন রাজাপুর বয়েজ ক্লাব ও মনসা মন্দির। রাজাপুর বয়েজ ক্লাবের ওখানে একটা মাঠ আছে, বয়েজ ক্লাবের পাশেই। হ্যাঁ, ওখান থেকে আপনি একটা রাস্তা ডান দিকে গেছে, ওটায় যাবেন না, সোজাটা এগিয়ে আসবেন। সোজাটা এগোলেই রাস্তাটা দেখবেন দুম করে শেষ হয়ে গেছে, টি জয়েন্টের মতো ডান দিক বাদিক বেঁকে গেছে, ওটা হচ্ছে মনসা মন্দির। আপনি মনসা মন্দিরে এসে ফোন করুন না, তারপর আমি দেখছি। হ্যাঁ, ওকে। Hello, let's start. So it allows high resolution current recording of the whole cells. And there are excised cellular patches are also there. Okay. So the patch is actually, I'll show you that is better than, let's see. And the thing is that one particular ion channel is opened actually, so that ion can come out or go into, and some current will be contributed by a single ion channel. So it is a schematic diagram of that particular thing. So one ion channel allows the ions to penetrate in any direction. Here the direction is totally arbitrarily shown. And there are cytosolvins, the intracellular fluid, the fluid which is present inside the cell. It is actually cytoplasmic fluid. And there is also another fluid, another liquid, which is outside the cell. So this liquid is present inside some patch pipe. Okay, it is present. So there is some ion transfer from inner part of the cell to the outer part of the cell. Okay, and that ionic current is captured by some terminal and is applied to some amplifier to amplify the voltage. So that is a schematic diagram of the whole field to measure whole cell current. To measure whole cell current. Just I am showing you one figure that it is okay. Uh, so it is one hippocampal neuron, cultured murine hippocampal neuron is shown. Okay, where one patch PP is attached to the hippocampal neuron of the brain. Okay, and it is actually is just a photograph created by Dr. Ainhara Acuerdo. It's shown, given in mentioned actually. See, you can see it here. So there one patch clamp is patch PP is attached and the whole cell current is measured actually. So a patch PP is really a very micro level micro electrode actually. It is a micro electrode that can go for cell level recording of current. That can be used for cell level recording of current. So that lot of behavior of the cell and everything can be uh, studied. Now there are different type of patch clamp technique. Just only the overview is given, not too much. One is called a cell attached patch. A patch means what? Some perforation, some breaking of the cell membrane, and some artificial patch is incorporated there. Okay, and through which ions can be transferred from inside part of the cell to the outside part of the cell. Okay, inside part of the cell to the outside part of the cell, or in any other opposite direction also. Okay, and the cell structure is not disturbed actually because only one ion channel is undergoing that type of uh, modification. Okay, another type of patch is called inside out patch. There is a patch is attached to the membrane. uh, it is actually patch is a part of the patch PP, and it is forcibly detached. Just hold 1 minute. Hello. আপনি ওইখান থেকে একটা রাস্তা দেখুন ডান দিকে চলে গেছে, আরেকটা রাস্তা সোজা গেছে, মোটামুটি সোজা। ওই সোজা রাস্তা, ওই রাস্তাটা ধরে আপনি সোজা এগিয়ে আসুন। মাঠের পাশ দিয়ে ডান দিকের রাস্তাটা ধরবেন না। হ্যাঁ, ওইটা ধরে সোজা এগোলে দেখবেন রাস্তাটা শেষ হয়ে গেছে। আর একটা বাড়িতে ধাক্কা খাচ্ছে। ডান দিকের কর্নারে একটা মন্দির দেখুন, মনসা মন্দির। আপনি বাঁদিকে টার্ন দিন, বাঁদিকে টার্ন দিয়ে এগিয়ে আসুন। একটুখানি এগোলে বাঁদিকে একটা অরেঞ্জ কালারের ফ্ল্যাট, ওই অরেঞ্জ ফ্ল্যাটের মেইন গেটে, ওটাই ফ্ল্যাট, ওটাই গেটের সামনে আসুন আর কোনটা ধরে থাকুন। আপনি আপনি গেটের সামনে আসুন। হ্যাঁ, এই যে আমি দেখুন হাত লাগছে, দেখতে পাচ্ছেন তো দাদা পিছনে? হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা কত টাকা হচ্ছে বলুন তো? ঠিক আছে, আমরা আসছি। Okay, let's start again. So, so it is ruptured. It is just broken out. Okay, okay, and once it is broken out, the cell membrane is ruptured. Means the inner liquid of the cell is becoming exposed to the external medium or bath where the cell is immersed actually, where the cell is immersed. Obviously, this technique allows the investigator to investigate the behavior of the liquid, behavior of the ionic movement and also the inner behavior of the cell as well. There is a whole cell patch, another type is that of the ruptured cell, it is going little bit into the patch PP. It is just dragged into the patch PP and ionic transfer takes place. But one thing is that the patch PP contains some liquid, external liquid, and cell has some inner liquid. They are getting mixed up gradually. Once it is mixed up, the external liquid can enter into the cell. So the electrode actually, we call it that the dialyzes the intracellular medium. The electrode dialyzes the intracellular medium, means the intracellular liquid is modified actually. So the study can be made only up to a certain time. After that, the inner part of the liquid will be totally contaminated or modified by the presence of external liquid. Okay. And the last technique is outside out patch. Okay, where the patch is just used to create a loop, and for some behavior, investigation of some behavior, it is becoming very much useful. So different techniques are there. So these are the patch clamp techniques actually, and the electrodes these are used are the micro electrodes actually. A very small sized electrode. I would say just show you the electrodes and all such things later, not today actually. Clear? So that is the thing is there. So that second chapter is complete where we have seen how different voltages are generated in the cell level, how they can be assessed. Okay. Some overview is found. So once we know how biopotentials are generated, next we want to see how they are aggregated together and to give up some voltages in the surface level. So that we'll find out. The chapter 2, I shall send you the chapter 2 today. Okay, but now we want to see a little bit on the chapter 3, which is the surface potential. Actually, it is the surface potential where all the biopotentials are actually summed up or aggregated, and then it is manifested in the surface of some of our organs. So let's see our chapter 3, surface potentials in various parts of the body. Now, what are the different sites and measurement methods of bioelectric potentials? One method I already told you is the intracellular measurement, which is done across the membrane, cell membrane, and the technique is, the tool is the microelectrode. Okay, it is used to record the current, and the associated technique is called patch clamp technique, already discussed. Next thing is the measurement by inserting electrode. Your electrodes are inserted not in a cell, rather electrodes are inserted in the tissues of various muscles. It is inserted in nerve cell also, and it is inserted in some part of the brain. Okay, and another technique is the measurement of the body surface potential, the voltage available in our skin surface is also measured by some electrode. And there are some non-invasive techniques are there where no electrode will be inserted at all. Okay, it will be a distant measuring. No, things are measured without touching anything. So one is positron emission tomography, PET, magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. These are also there. Okay, and many other techniques. Just two methods are shown here, mentioned here. Now there are different bioelectric signals present. One is called EMG electromyogram. It is associated with the muscle movement. ECG electrocardiogram associated with the heart activity, the regular movement of the pulsation of the heart. EOG or ERG, electrooculogram or electroretinogram. It is related to eye movement. EEG, electroencephalogram. EEG, it is related to our brain state. Okay, whenever anything happens, okay, in the surrounding or in the external body or in our mind, okay, the condition of the brain changes and there is a reflection in the voltage generated by the brain surface, the scalp of the brain. So it's called EEG, electroencephalogram. And GSR, galvanic skin response. It is also a surface voltage, okay, that can be measured actually, measured with electrodes. Let's come back to our discussion. So, okay, and so these skin surface electrodes are used to measure other things also, breathing, that is the respiratory rate, temperature, body temperature, our movement, all such things. And many other sensors are also used to capture signals. NTC, negative temperature coefficient, sensors like thermistors or something like LDR, light detecting resistance, piezo crystal, piezoelectric sensor, Hall sensor, accelerometer, goniometer, different type of things are there present. Now, if we just see the distribution of these biopotentials, it will be organized that way. The DCG is found in our heart, EMG in our, okay, EMG is found in our muscle. Impedance pneumogram means it is actually the galvanic skin response. No, in impedance pneumogram is actually some impedance measurement of various organs. From that also some information can be detected. And galvanic skin response is, as I told you, the is measuring the skin contact resistance of, or the surface resistance of skin. Other things are there as usual, EG, EOG or ERG, all such things are also there. Okay. Now, uh, there is, okay, better I stop today with this particular thing because 1 minute. Okay, I like to stop today with that. Tomorrow I will take a class. Okay. Tomorrow I shall take a class. I'll better I start it to, otherwise I don't want to lose the continuity. So tomorrow I'll take a class and then I'll continue the rest of the thing. Any question up to this? Anything?
No, sir.
No. Gradually, we are actually going towards engineering domain from biology to engineering. Gradually. Okay. I conclude today with this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.